Well, hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing another pet portrait. This one's for a cat, which I'm pretty excited about. I think it's going to be a fun image, though it will also be a bit challenging. I'm going to be working from a few different images, one for the setting and a couple others for the pose, because we didn't have an exact image, so this should be interesting. I hope it comes out well. Let's see. So yeah, the scenery for this should be pretty cool. It's on a balcony with a cityscape behind it, and then the cat's little playhouse and mat, which are colorful and have some nice shapes. And obviously the cat is lovely. And he's going to be in sort of an outstretched pose with his arms out in front of him. And I'm going to try and get all his little details just right. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm going to start by laying this one out in acrylic gesso and just focus on setting it up correctly as a black and white image, and then I'm going to go over it in oil paint after. So I think that will help me simplify the process a little bit of working with the different images and make sure I have it kind of structurally sound before I start getting into the color, which I do think the color for this is going to be really fun. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. Let's see. So for acrylic, I like to have some water nearby to wash my brush out. And I'm just going to be using black gesso and white gesso on my palette here. So I'm not going to put acrylic paint onto my glass palette. And yeah, so I'm just going to start by putting a little bit of black, a little bit of white, and this will act as a primer, so it's a good layer for either oil or acrylic paint to stick to afterward. And you can also paint with it, so it's a little bit grittier than normal paint, but it will do just fine for this. All right. I'm gonna start out kind of bold with a big brush and a bit of water, and I'm gonna just mix up like a gray to start with and not go too dark immediately. Let's give this a shot. And I'm just kind of squinting at the image right now and getting where I think the more shaded areas are going to be. Top half of this is going to be a lot lighter, and I think that it'll work out well because the cat is white, and the dark area will really give some nice contrast to bring emphasis to Mason. With a big brush is pretty fun though. Can put a lot of paint down pretty quickly. It's a nice way to block things in. stripes are gonna be a fun challenge. I actually like how the brush is kind of already hinting at them. Because this dries so fast, it's easy to layer and make adjustments. The leg of a chair right here, I may get rid of it, but it does give kind of a sense of space. Some of these buildings back here. Start to work those in. These will be nice to work with a knife afterward too, but just to sort of start getting them into their approximate spots. I've been thinking about how I wanted to sort of plan the process for this, and I wasn't quite sure. I thought about doing like a digital mock-up of it with everything in its right spot, but I think ultimately that would have taken me just as long as to like figure it out and paint, so I figured I might as well just paint. That seemed more fun anyway. Start to get the effect of the space. I think this area needs to be a little bit darker. Not that dark though. The idea here isn't necessarily to get everything exactly right, but just to get a decent layout. Get my cat in here. Let's see. Picturing his body's going to be sort of in here. Paws are going to be outstretched. There's a lot of foreshortening here. What's sort of the height? I think his head's going to end up being right about the head side of the door, but he's going to be bigger the stretch. Just trying to make this plausible. Let's see. I do want to work into more of the details with these stripes here, but I think that getting him in position first will probably be worthwhile. Switch to a somewhat smaller brush, but not too much smaller. Okay. And I'm also switching to another picture of him, but it's not really at the right perspective, but it's a little bit similar. It's more from above though. Brush is a bit stiff. Okay. Right. This might take more than one try, but that's okay. That's kind of why I'm doing it in acrylic. It gives me an opportunity to get everything in the right spot. So just gonna really rough block him in here. It's gonna look crazy, I know. It's okay, I'm gonna be able to fix it. So let's see. I think lighting's coming from the left-hand side in the scene, so I'm gonna have to keep that consistent. So, I'm gonna put a little bit of light on his face no matter what, so that his eyes will show up. Let's see. And his head needs to be a little bit more centered on him. And trying to get his little elbows and paws. Very, very blobby right now, but I think it'll work out. Let's see. A little bit of reading about sort of how people do like sort of historical sort of representations, kind of a project for that, or like anywhere you couldn't really get a real picture to work from. You can build models. It's actually a really popular thing. Or you can work digitally and make a digital model and work from that, or you can just try kind of in the way that I'm doing, I guess. I don't know. I think that it all kind of depends how much time you're going to put into this. The best thing is to have a photo that's more what you're looking for. Feeling like, again, I'm really just thinking about the volume right now. Switch back to my original picture. So I think it'll actually be more helpful. Just because he's at least in scale, though he's further back. Let's see. So maybe I can work this out. It's basically, perspective-wise, you know, this and this length and this length are really the same. They're just, this one's further back. So similarly, for my cat who's back in this doorway here, and he's about this tall here, and he would be, he's coming at me. He would be about this tall here, but he's also going to be laying down. I think he's too small and he's too low here. So. Just block it in a little bit more. I know, he's a blob. It's okay. He's not going to be a blob. He's not going to stay a blob. I think I'm just trying to get his ears about where I think they'd be. Yeah, maybe his paws. Paws look a little short right now. I think they'd actually be out here more. That's coming along. Okay, that makes more sense, I think. There's a lot of, this is like foreshortening, so these things are going to stay the right width, but then they're going to be kind of squished. Or they will look strange. A lot of this is going to look strange for a while. I have to figure out how to do his back feet. And then his tail. That's coming toward us. Do that. It's starting to get right. That's why I really didn't want to work with color at the same time as this. This at least I can kind of get things located and then go from there. This is not a scientific process by any means. I suppose another way to do it would be to do more of sketch it out as a drawing first too, which can work also. Prefer to draw sort of flat, so it doesn't film that well on the easel. It's part of my thinking here. Okay. So, let's see. I think this matte for right now, I'm gonna just simplify that and make it dark. Once I have the cat worked out, I will worry about putting stripes on it. Looks a little intense right now, a little bit fierce. Okay. Trying to get, so if his paws are parallel. I think this one needs to go up this way a little bit more. I had a cat who used to lay like this too, and I always thought it was kind of like Superman style. Always made me smile. Cats are funny, they always lay in the best shapes. I don't know if that's just because I think about shapes a lot, but I do feel like cats have good ones. This guy's got big paws too. The back is probably up a little bit high, or maybe his head is a little low. I don't know. We'll figure that out. It's getting close though. I was a little nervous for a minute there. I'll work out some of these areas that don't really need the light in them. I'm planning to go back in with the palette knife when I do the oil. This part, since I don't want the paint to get really thick though, I wanna be able to do most of my texturing with the knife later. I am focusing on brushing for now. So you can tell me if you like the brush sounds. Bring this part back in here. Maybe lower his back a little bit. I think it's up a little high right now. Okay. He's got this great little door flap here with his name on it. That's pretty cool. Figure that out next. Or at some point anyway. It's coming. Okay. Love the light in this. It's really very pretty. There's going to be a lot of good tones in the sky through this sort of fence here. I think I'll have a lot of opportunities for some really pretty reflected light too. All right. So yeah, thinking that. Just trying to think of where the light would be hitting, so I think his back and then maybe this hip bone here. Let's switch down. One more brush size, maybe. It's a little bit. Just want to bring the sky across the whole top. Wait for that to dry up a little bit. And use this little brush in a while. Probably should have done these lines first and then put the circles in, but actually it helped me. It did help me lay it out, so I think it's fine. Sort of using this as a way to do a little bit of cross hatching. I think this sort of wrought iron stuff is pretty fun to paint. Alright. Little brush is fun, I feel like. It's kind of the closest you can get to drawing but painting. At least for me, I don't know. It's just a little 1/4-inch shader brush. Almost feels like kind of painting around with a marker or something. This area needs to be a little bit darker. Shadow here. Okay, that's coming. I'll get this sort of roof here, the right shape. back over this area here. Just clean up this edge. I need to give this a little break and stop messing with it. Just want to like not leave it thick, even if I know I'm gonna come back. Especially if I know I'm gonna come back. Put more paint. In there. It's getting there. Okay. Okay, I want to have his tail kind of curving up and kind of showing off. He's got a very pretty spiky little tail here. I'm thinking maybe he kind of does this. And then has a little fur kind of like comes apart or separates a little. I think that might work. Okay. Let's see. And then I can even hit this with a little bit of light. It makes sense that there would be some light hitting his face, maybe bouncing off the building and coming back. Kind of finding these little areas that I want to blend a little bit. I don't really want, kind of want to block the tail in. I don't want it looking like a lot of hairs yet, even though I'm thinking about it. I've done a few paintings this way and haven't quite settled on the actual amount of detail that's worth getting out of the black and white. I suspect more is good if you can pull it off. I think that's coming along. Okay, let's switch back to actually just zoom in on his face in this picture. So right now his ears are out kind of wide. I think that I want them out that wide. They're gonna be more coming up from the side of his head. He's got cute puffy cheeks. Love it. these cute little gray spots, but I won't. That'll be the kind of thing I'll make sure I get in the details on the oil. Right now it's a little too rough to worry too much about right now. Just block that in dark just to get this shape right. Cutie. Okay. Eyes are closed in this picture, which doesn't make that part as easy. Get his features in about the right spot, though. That'll help. It gets a little bit cartoony. We'll be able to fix that a little later on, I think. Gonna have some of the sort of nice warm cool tones going on, kind of like the snow paintings do. Just got like the blues and yellows. White fur kind of does the same thing. To that picture. Let's see. Really trying to think three-dimensionally as I shade this too. A lot of it's a bit of estimating. Let's see. Got I want to get the eye shapes about right. He's got somewhat long nose. Toughest thing is I'm trying to get this perspective of him being down low, which I think would mean his nose would shorten a little bit in this view compared to the one I'm looking at. So, and actually the top of his nose just blends in here. It doesn't have a line at the top. I have another picture. Oh, maybe this one. He looks funny now. Just trying to decide where to go with it. I might go right here with it. Start over. All right. Sometimes that's the play. Okay. Outside of those paws. Okay. Simplifying is good too. That's one thing that the big brush switching back lets me take out some of the extra detail that maybe wasn't helping me. It's just making it more complicated to look at. Okay. I think his back's a little bit. even rotate this a little bit. Okay. That I think is right. I've got a good picture for the face at least. Okay. Let's see. He's also got two different color eyes, which is pretty fun. I forget what the word for that is. I'll need to not flip them the wrong way. Alright. Let's see. Shadow there. Sometimes it's just these really subtle things that give the form. That's starting to get there. Lighten this a bit next, but here he's got I'm getting close anyway. Let's see. Hopefully I remember how to paint in oils after I switch back. It's definitely a different feel that takes a little getting used to though. I do like being able to paint fast and layer things. I think that overall the oils are better for color though. I'll try and get the shape of this ear just right. So the top kind of curves out, bottom kind of curves in. It's looking pretty good, I think. Just trying to get these little lines in right. But I think he's looking a little skinny, actually, right here. I think he might need a little bit more fur. But it's good to be getting to a place where it's close enough to notice things like that. I think this arm is looking a little small too. Maybe even move that. Let's see. Yeah, I think his elbow should be about here. Remember, he's kind of facing me. Make sure he has the right number of toes when I get done too. It's a bit dark right now, but I think trying to get a little indication of this arm bending a little bit. So he's on his mat, nice and cozy. Trying to get the paws. Oh, that looks a little better. Okay. Yeah, I think sometimes it's just a little really subtle thing with the light. We'll just change the way the form looks. That's, yeah, just need a little more tail here. I think it's starting to get there. It's starting to look a bit like him. Okay. Slim his nose a little bit. It's looking a little bit like a lion. I think that the closer I can get it before I switch into oil, probably the better the result will be, but also the less possible complicated redoing I'll have to do. This area should be kind of darker, which will help define his chin a little bit more. Swap back to my big brush for it and do a little simplifying. Get like that a little bit simplified there. there's a danger in trying to put in too much detail. That's kind of made up anyway. Really, if I get the look of his face and his posture and the lighting, it's gonna work. I think this ear is still a little off. Could be a little bit smoother. Sometimes the big brush really is a better way to go. You can just get better shapes. There's just some details in like specifically kind of how his face is shaped. But if I get the right curves there, it will just work. Go back to the small one for a minute. Trying to get this spacing right. I feel like there's still something that's just off with the proportions. It might be because I'm tipping his head a little bit. something. I may end up painting over them again. Let's see. Eyeline is about there. Nose. Somehow I feel like I've got things in the right spot, but they're just looking really off, and it might be the lighting. It's probably the lighting. I might be in a good spot to take a break and just come back to it with fresh eyes in a little bit. The nice thing again is because I'm working in acrylic, literally I can take half an hour and come back and it will be basically in the same spot. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. Okay. So, I think actually I was originally going to do a little bit more with the acrylics, but I'm thinking that it's actually just time to move on. I think that I was getting a little bit frustrated by not being able to get the exact kind of shading that I was going for in the final. And really, oils will just do that better. So I think I'm gonna just keep going. I think the layout is strong enough, and I think that I'll still be able to make adjustments just like normal. So yeah, just gonna get into that and start by setting up my palette. So I'm just gonna top up a couple colors here. Need a little bit more Viridian. And actually put out a little bit of Cobalt as well as Phthalo. So you may want a blue that isn't so strong. I feel like the Cobalt is a good kind of all-around blue, but it's not transparent. So if I put it over another color, it'll cover. It's just got a different kind of working property. Alright. I think I've got alizarin out, which I'm going to use. I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay. cadmium red light. I think that it's gonna work well for a lot of these areas. I've been finding the alizarin and cad red light is a nice mix to get a good red in a lot of places. Let's see. I'm gonna need some more white, obviously, but not yet. Oh, and some burnt sienna too. I think that'll be a good set of colors. This is kind of, I don't know, I'm almost feeling like I've landed on a palette that I like. I've been kind of going back to these same colors. Sometimes I add things and subtract them, but it's been pretty solid for me. Without getting really complicated, I could probably have twice as many, but that's just more to keep track of, and you can mix them anyway, so that works. All right, let's get some white out too. I've been enjoying having the big can of white because I don't have to worry about running out of it, but it is a little bit less convenient to have to scoop it out than to just have a tube. So I don't know when this one runs out. I don't know how I'll do it next time. I've got a little time though. All right. So yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a wet layer. I'm looking at not worrying too much about getting a lot of white in here right now. So I'm not going to do a liquid white layer. I'm going to do, let's see. I was thinking about like a warm, maybe a little bit of alizarin and burnt sienna. I'm looking in my shadows. They're going to be fairly cool. Could go bluer. I almost see two different things going on actually. I could do a warm for the top and a blue for the bottom. Let's see. I think I'm just going to try warm throughout. So I'm going to do some of this lavender oil or lavender spike essence out. I'm gonna just, yeah, I think that will be plenty. I'm gonna use a little bit of that and a little bit of linseed oil, I think, in this first layer. I'm gonna keep it somewhat thin. I'll use this warm brush that I've used for oranges and things like that before. All right, so take a little alizarin, a little bit of this cad red light. This is going to be intense. Okay. Maybe too intense. Thinking that I'm going to thin this out a lot and to just keep it fairly vibrant over everything. I'm going to take a little burnt sienna. Think about that for a second instead. There's even a little yellow ochre there. Okay, that can join. That feels a little bit more reasonable. Okay. Let's start with that. A little bit. I think that'll work. Okay. I'm going to just do a wash over everything in this. Then we'll build the lights back up out of it, but I want to kind of unify it all, and I don't want any of the darks sitting at that black that's there right now. So something down as a layer to work into. While I don't do the traditional sort of wet process, I do feel that it's nice having something to work into. I'm really not seeing a lot of that warm, so I'm gonna actually do a risky thing and mix in a little bit of this cobalt. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that sort of blue glaze in from the bottom. Yeah, I think that'll give us a good start. I might even do a little more with this cobalt here. Okay, that looks good. Let's clean this up. And then maybe get into a little bit of palette knife work. Finally. I wasn't really thinking the brushing part of this was going to take as long, and maybe I just, I don't know, got in my own head a little bit about it. It happens. It's kind of a natural part of the process. I think it'll come together. Sometimes kind of figuring out how long to give each part before moving on. Until you've done it a few times, you really don't know. Let's see. This out. Start by, I think I kind of want to work out the background and then kind of move toward the foreground. That's going to work out pretty well. It'll let me avoid working into some of those details that frustrated me yesterday too. Okay, so let's see. I need this nice red for anything. It's so strong. It's really beautiful, but I don't think it's really what I need right now. Just move it off to the side. It'll probably come in handy for something. Okay. So, I am thinking about is mixing up sort of a deeper brown. Might have a little bit of this red in it actually. And I'm gonna start putting this in here. As I'm seeing sort of cityscape back behind the sort of fencing here. Seeing these little warm highlights. It's kind of what inspired this backdrop. I'm just gonna start working those in. I really enjoy sort of this meditative part of the process where you're just seeing something and reacting to it. I think Probably good at that, or better at it than the making things up. It's kind of like this careful observation process. Okay, let's see. Scrubbing in some colors. In a way, I don't have to be quite as careful with all these tones because I've got the values somewhat established from the previous layer. I'm going to want to mix up blue, but I'm going to probably, I'm seeing there's a lot of blue tones in the sky here and in kind of coming through this fencing. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to wait and do those after and let them kind of really glow through all of this. So I'm kind of just establishing some texture first. It's kind of a shift where this side is more warm and then this side, as I kind of move over here, it gets cooler. So I'm going to get a little bit more alizarin, a little bit of cobalt. So we mix those up. Start working kind of a similar texture over in here. Middle tone here. I like this sort of streaky look. That's gonna work well. Crazy as it may look right now. Kind of have to get used to seeing a couple steps ahead. That in there. Let's see. Mix up a. Let's see. I want to start hinting at these buildings. Yeah, I'll do that. So for the buildings, I'm actually seeing them sort of similar to this purple. almost just a hint that you can see through this sort of fencing where you can see these sort of rectangular shapes. It's starting to come through. It's actually reminding me a little bit of the tree line that I did on the recent painting that had cabins in front of a mountain and sort of a forest that had a lot of different sort of layers and depth to it. Maybe that's what attracted me to working from this one. It's been this way. Just kind of want to get these different layers established. This upper part here will have more of this kind of liney texture. This is going to be interesting. Okay. I'm going to mix up some blue gray. I want to fill in this patio area here. I use a bunch of different grays. I do think I might mix a little bit of white in with those. Maybe I'll stay warm for a little bit. I'm gonna do, let's see, a little bit of yellow ochre. And put in this warm edge here. Little house. I think that's about right. Yellow ochre is nice because that's an opaque color too. So I can actually, even though the value's not that different, it's just letting me shift this a little bit lighter. I think it could even be just a touch green. And switch knives for a minute. This one has a nice long edge on it. Actually, maybe not, because I need to clean that one. edge is starting to look warm and has a lot of variety in it too. It's really catching a lot of reflections. Okay. Then up here, it's a bit warmer and a bit darker. I'm going to do a little bouncy on it with this kind of purple tone. Just kind of catch this shadow that comes across. Blend that in a little bit in a second. A little bit of texture that's from the previous layer. It's not so well defined, but it's there. Okay. And we'll fade a little bit cooler. Really, it's all just different shades of brown and gray here. It's a sort of taupe painted edge, maybe. I don't know, maybe taupe is the wrong color. Really light, but it's in shade, so it's not quite so light. But even there, you can see it's looking pretty dark, even next to the black. It's funny. It's funny how the color works that way. Okay. Then I want some nice, rich, dark red here. Corner. Maybe even a little phthalo in that. Get it really dark, really purpley. This one, I'm gonna go really dark in the doorway here. Mix in a little bit of white. That's way too much though. And a little bit of yellow ochre. Just want to start popping in some of this lighter area here. Just get a better sense of the full sort of range of values. That needs to be a lot more orange. I don't know. Let's see. just don't think I like this one. I think I'm gonna stop and start over. Yeah. Maybe. Let's see. I'm really tempted to. There's just too much going on. Alright, well, I'm gonna just keep painting for a while. Maybe I won't keep this one, and maybe I will. If I don't, then this won't even be in the video. And I'm just gonna kind of go for it and see what happens. Okay. So I think what I'm struggling with right now is that I'm feeling like I kind of want to keep going with a brush, and I'm just like trying to force to go to knife, and I think that it's not, just not liking the way it's feeling right now. I think I might brush this out a bit, and I might turn it all into mud, and then I'm just gonna keep going, and if I don't like where it goes, then I will just start a new one. Okay. This is what's hard about like doing commissions sometimes, is you really want to do a good job. I think that when I'm just painting a painting normally, like if I just know like, well, you know, maybe no one will like it, whatever, maybe they'll like the sound, maybe they won't. If no one likes the painting, they don't have to buy it. But when I'm doing a commission, I know that I have like a person that I want to love it, and I want them to think it's great, and I want them to think that it was, you know, something that they are excited to hang up in their home. So it feels a little bit more pressure. It's just something, it's just part of it, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, just gonna play for a bit. Let's see. This might be unsavable. I don't know. I don't quite know why it's feeling so not good right now. Normally I don't get that fussy. I think that's why I like knife painting in general. So I think that once I start brushing things, I really start overthinking a lot. think I'm gonna give up on this one for right now. Oh man. I don't normally admit defeat. I normally make them work. But I am just feeling like yeah. Oh man. Okay. It's kind of fun. See, I like how the white is lifting out these darks here. That's kind of what I was, at least what I was imagining. with this. I wasn't sure if it was gonna come through or not. Is all these little lines. It's like you can almost use the way that it gets muddy to your advantage somehow. Make it kind of glow. A little bit of cobalt in here. A little bit more. I don't know, might be salvageable. We'll see. This is one of these things, like if I didn't have a video going, I might have given up on it, and actually now I really like that. I think it's kind of cool. Alright. Okay. I want to mix up, let's see, a nice white tone for some of these little highlights on his head, his ear here. Doesn't have to be exact, just keeping it about right. Well, I remember a story I wanted to share. Recently, I don't know where I saw this. It might have been a video, might have been something I read. But apparently, John Singer Sargent was sort of notorious for repainting things. So he would have these very wealthy patrons that would hire him to paint their portraits, obviously, because people weren't taking pictures then. And they would get frustrated with him because he would work on something for a long time and then decide he didn't like it, and he would just scrape it all down and say, I'll start over tomorrow. And he said, I think one woman remarked that it was as if, she was the model and not the patron. Obviously she had to be both if she wanted the portrait done, but that he was treating his patrons as if they were models paid by him as opposed to the reverse, and not valuing their time. But I guess they also liked his work and thought it was worth it in the end. Let's see. Okay. But he has a reputation for being, or very well known for being able to make these very sort of spontaneous looking portraits that are just perfect, but not overworked. And I really, obviously, like lots of people are inspired by him, but I am as well. But it comes from being willing to toss it and start over again sometimes. Okay. Do that. He's got his little chin. I'll try that. Nothing else. I'm gonna have some fun. I just don't quite know otherwise. He's got a very puffy chest. It's kind of making him look very relaxed. Very happy cat. Okay, I love how it lifted that blue just a little bit there on the tail. Okay. And here, I actually do think this is going to be fairly dark. I'll stick to that blue. And try that. All right. Yeah, just gonna have some fun. All right. It sort of almost has a Van Gogh vibe to me right now. One of my favorite painters. I think obviously he had his struggles, but I think he had a very unique way of seeing as well. Going with that, I like that yellow on this mat here. And then we've got sort of a dark red stripe. And an orange one. Actually, and a yellow one. Oops. The yellow is getting into everything. I'm gonna put in a couple more. I got some of those blue stripes in already, I guess. Okay. Let's see. Take a little bit more. Just kind kind of bouncing around, really. Trying to. Feels a little silly, but keep on keeping on. At least it's fun now. Alright, let's see. Got these grays, sort of blues and grays in here. Start working in. Okay, well, this is fun. I think what I've said before is that, I don't know, I think I said it in the last one, I don't really have a process for doing these pat portraits. I like doing them. I think they're fun, but I do stress about them a little bit. So I can only do so many. But I think that this is a fun way of working. And as if sometimes you do something and you're not sure if it's going to work, and it can actually lead you to find something new. So that can be a good thing. Here it gets a little bit warmer. Actually bring in some of this pink. Cool. Right. Let's see. Doing something. take a little bit of this yellow ochre and white. Just put in this little door frame here. I like how this paint is kind of mixing. It kind of gives it like a out of focus look. Probably come back over this one. The blue is a little bit more set up. It's giving me phthalo problems. But in a way, it kind of works. It kind of all unifies it. Let's see. Do a little bit of Viridian, alizarin into this phthalo. That got a little mucky though. Wipe my brush. Start it now. Alizarin, Viridian pile right here. Just make a nice dark laying along that edge. There we go. That works. We'll smudge it there. All right. Give a little bit of white and yellow ochre. Then just a tiny bit. See, the white is a little bit intense. Just start putting a little bit of this warm yellow in. All right. I like that. Okay. see. Try and get the right look on his paws. And just simplify this a little bit for now. Okay. Oh, he's such a character. Oh, let's see. I feel like I'm trying to get his line of his back a little bit better. I had it too high at one point and I had it too low. I've given up on any sort of realism though, so I'm just trying to make it look good. Let's see. there we go. I think I might have found something there. That was like, I think I didn't really have his hip bone, or like the impression of it in the right spot. It was just something was weird. I don't know. It's probably still pretty weird. All right. Well. He is looking very blue, but very shadowed, which I think that there should be actually some warm shadows here I'm seeing as well. I'll just put in a little bit of this purple. I'm mainly looking at the main photo I started with. I'm just making up the rest, to be honest. Come in around these paws a little bit. Trying to get kind of the right balance between like softness and texture and light. Make kind of a medium warm gray here. Get this cheek the right shape. I'm referencing the picture of him kind of little. I'm gonna just, his eyes are closed in this, but I'll probably open them so that we can see his eyes. where they are. Let's see. Gonna simplify this shape right here. That's, and this looks crazy, but it's just getting a little too thick. Give me let that set up a bit, and then come back and give it another go. Actually kind of cool. I just realized that the sort of warm cool actually works with his eyes as well, because he has the yellow eye, which is in the blue side of him right now, then he has a blue eye, which is in the warmer side of him right now, and I think that's actually really cool. I can do something with that, even if it's not exactly right now. Okay. It's good to have these little happy surprises though. Do you think there's something to not forcing these things sometimes when they want to be one way? Maybe letting them be what they are. Sort of got his look now. Try and get his nose just the right scale. Oh, there we go. I think that's getting somewhere. Okay. A little bit of pink. And then do a little bit more of this sort of cooler gray. Kind of trying to get this sort of fluffiness sort of coming together now, I think. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you're so cute, buddy. Okay. Starting to put some of these little gray hairs in that he's got. That's got the right. It's got actually kind of got his little chin and his sort of fluff. It's a fluff. The fluffs. All right. Trying to just texture his. It's kind of this like spiky pattern in his fur. Kind of all over him, but also on his tail. Let's see. I'll do a bit more white here. Start bringing this spiky look to his tail. Let's see if I got another. There we go. Yeah. So, actually goes out quite a bit. I feel like his body looks a little small, but I think it might just be the way it is. Okay, let's give a little bit more of that spiky fur texture here too. So I originally think I was going to do some wax. I really think I was going to do some knife. Kind of thinking that maybe this one just gets done with a brush. Like that, a warm, cool. Now that's kind of working together now. A little bit of that. Might wait and do that after on his back. I think this front top of his ear I'll probably punch up a little bit more too. Let's try and get some more of these details on his mat, and I think I've got some yellow I want to intersperse here. I'll use some cad yellow. So right before, looks like right here. Some of this would be shaded anyways. This side doesn't need to be quite as bright. And on this other side, I think I do want these to be nice and bright. Actually, we'll put a white edge here. And I can work on top of a little bit. I think that'll help it pop up a little bit. Just that one, I guess. A little bit more of this red. There's a stripe of green in there too. It's a little bit like Viridian. Let's see. Maybe that's like right here. Now I like it enough, and I'm surprised it's hard to imagine that I was about to quit a little bit ago. Just make a couple little, I'm just going to keep going. That's what I'm going to keep doing. Planning has not been the strong part of this, but I think it's still going to a nice place regardless. So I'm going to just fix up this little hip here. I feel like just looking a little bit short. I think this, just a little adjustment there. Ways tail is sort of flowing out from next to him will actually help. He might be a little bit giant in front of his face, but I think he's a pretty big boy anyway. Give him a little bit more of that spiky fur look. There we go. I think that's starting to work. What a critter. Little shadow back there. I like that little toe trick. And I'm just kind of flicking paint, just trying to get the right feel to it. You know, some people say this isn't the best way to do it, but it is really satisfying, and I think it can work. I'm gonna let this set just a little, maybe. I want to detail his eyes, but I don't want them to get too messy either. I might put in the dark a little bit though. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna have too much. I don't need his pupils to be really dark. I'm gonna retouch the color a little bit. So just do that. And maybe touch just the bottom of this. Give him his little cat eyeliner. I love him. Okay. Do a little touch on the nose. Kind of same idea. Oh man, okay. Alright. I think I'm going to call it for a little bit and come back and do some more. But thanks for sticking with me this far. It's going to turn out into a long one. It's going to be tougher when I have to fight myself. I'm pretty tough. Alright, and I'm back. Just put a little bit of finishing up that I'm planning to do. I think it's in a pretty good place. I realized that I had accidentally flipped his eye colors, which is a little embarrassing, but I actually flipped my references because I look at them through the mirror, and I flipped some of them, but not others apparently. So I made a mistake. So I'm gonna fix that. So he will have his yellow eye on the left, and his blue eye on the right. And I think I may do a little bit with some other details, but mainly I'm just gonna focus on his face. Just a couple little refinements here and there. And I may adjust some of the values or some of the colors on the fur, but I haven't decided yet. A little bit tempted to just warm up the shadows just a little bit more. They're very cool right now, which I like in a way, but I feel like just a little bit warmer might be nice. So yeah, just gonna get going. Alright. So first up, let's get into these eye colors. Okay. So for his left eye, I'm going to use a bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of cadmium yellow. Just go pretty bright with this, especially because I'm going to be looking to go over the blue. Fortunately, this is pretty well set up, so just get in there just like that. And I may do a little bit more as well, but start by getting this yellow in. It's kind of cool. Actually, a little bit glowy looking now. I think could come down just a little bit more here. We'll get the pupil back in too, so that it doesn't look like he's rolling his eyes at us. So that would be a very cat thing to do, I feel like. I'll do that for now. I think I'll reshape that a little bit, but I want to mostly get the color in there first. Okay. And on the other side, I'm going to get a blue. I think I'm going to go pretty much cool for that. Maybe even a little bit lighter. Thinking I'm going to go a little bit lighter with both of them. Just want to lay in their kind of most dark color, maybe even a tiny bit of ultramarine. Let's try that to start. This is much darker than his eyes actually are, but I'll be able to lift him up a little bit. Okay. And a little bit of white. Just use this to reshape the lower lids. That. And I do want to put just a little bit more like here on his face. Just adjust the way that contour is reading. It's the smallest things make a difference in the shape. Get in there. A little bit more white in here as well. the other thing I want to do, so I want to get his little hair detail here. So I'm gonna make her gray. A little blue and a little. Let's try burnt sienna. And some white. A little more blue, maybe. And this has a little mohawk. Oh. Trying to get his, so like both the shading to work through and then also the lighting and the fur color, I guess. So I think that's coming along nicely though. So that, get a little bit more, get a little bit, just a little bit of a yellow. Warm highlight on this ear. Into one of those little shiny edges. I love it when the fur is kind of lit up on the edge like this. He looks kind of magical right now. That suits him. Mixing up super tiny amounts of paint now for this. Don't need very much. I do want to make his lips a little bit more pink and less blue. his ear. That's a little bit blue. That's not what I wanted there. What I do want to do is just make his mouth a little bit wider, I think. This is looking a little bit too narrow. That's pretty good. Let's see about putting in some pupils and then lightening up his eyes. Let's do that. So I'm going to use Viridian and Alizarin for my dark. Even use, let's put that in with a knife, I think. This lets me put it a little bit thicker. I think I'm gonna adjust the irises with a brush anyway, so. Hope I'm not blocking the whole thing right now. I just need to get in close to be steady though. Okay. So, that. Wiping a little bit of this extra paint off here. I'm gonna probably lay in another adjustment on the shape here. But everything just got a little too thick, which can happen. Okay. Putting a little bit of gray at the corner of his eyes here as well. See about getting those irises. See if I've got, try a smaller brush. Unfortunately, I can only be so fussy because I don't have extremely small brushes because I don't like to use them normally. So, let's see. I'm gonna go a little bit phthalo. Some white. See if I can get a similar effect for the other one. Oh, I was pretty excited about that. And of course, don't forget to put the sparkle in either. I'm gonna fix the pupils are a little weird right now, but I like the colors. I'm gonna put his whiskers in too. Let's see. Not yet though. First is when I get his eyes looking the right shape. That's pretty good. Yeah, that might be about as good as I get it. Let's see. Put a little line in his nose because he's got that. I'm gonna fix that perspective a little bit there. All right. Use a knife for the whiskers. I'm a little nervous about doing this, but I think it'll work. Sometimes you can kind of test a mark out on your palette. Like that. It's nice and thin there. Okay. Going down. Alright. That's pretty good. I might put a little bit more sort of darkness into this dark gray spot on him. Just to make it show out since it's one of his defining characteristics. just gonna put his little sparkles in, I think. So. Maybe one more. Yeah, I think two. Two sparkles seems good. Go back to that picture. Yeah, I was thinking about adding just a little bit of warmth to these shadows. I think I'm gonna do it. Hopefully it doesn't result in me repainting the whole cat, but I don't think it will. So I'm gonna go with sort of a similar tone to this gray I used, but not quite that dark. Let's see. That's a bit light. Let's see. Might have actually gone too light with that. A little bit more alizarin viridian. Maybe about like that. Let's see. Just in a couple spots here. Just enough warmth to make it not quite so blue looking. Okay, I'm just gonna swap back to my filbert too. I just want to keep this fur texture about the same. I don't want to change it a lot. And actually, I'm able to put it on a little bit darker right here too. But I like the way this is just warming up a little bit. There we go. That's about right. I like this method that I've kind of come up with for doing the fur too. This brush works really well for it. I'm kind of bringing in just the darkest colors, and then I go over them and kind of drag the light over. Nice. Okay. I think I like that. Give that little blob. Let's see. the sunlight onto these paws here. I feel like cats always such a good way of catching all the sun they can. There he is. Something just a little bit about this fur transition here that's probably good. All right. Let's see. There's definitely more I could do, but I think that it's in a really nice place, and I think it's come a long way from where it started. So I think I'm gonna leave this one here, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever you're up to next.